Let me ask you something. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, do you actually do it? I'm not talking about the big dramatic promises. I'm talking about those quiet ones. The commitments to get out of bed when the alarm goes off, to go to gym, to stop scrolling, to have that difficult conversation. The promises nobody else even knows that you've made. Because that's where self-trust begins. Most men don't lose confidence because of one catastrophic failure. They lose it slowly, one broken promise at a time. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and you don't, you teach in your mind that your own word doesn't carry much weight. And eventually you stop believing in yourself. You stop believing yourself. That's why discipline isn't about getting results. It's about becoming someone your future self can trust. So your first pillar here is integrity. The foundation of that trust is integrity. And integrity is simple to understand, but difficult to live. Say what you mean, do what you say, finish what you start. Those three principles sound almost too obvious, but they're most often tested when you're tired, distracted, frustrated, tempted, and when nobody's watching. That's where integrity either survives or falls apart. Where in your actions consistently match your words, something changes inside you. You begin to respect yourself. That self-respect creates a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be announced. It's the kind of presence people notice without knowing exactly why. On the other hand, every time your words and actions drift apart, you weaken your relationship with yourself. You say you'll wake up early, but you hit the snooze button. You tell yourself this will be the last time I do X, Y, Z, and then you repeat the same behavior again. You promise that you'll start eating better tomorrow, and tomorrow just doesn't come. Each moment seems insignificant on its own, but together they slowly erode your self-respect. And without self-respect, confidence becomes an act instead of a reality. Many men wonder why they feel unmotivated, disconnected, or stuck. And often the answer isn't that they've lost their purpose, it's that they've lost alignment. They're saying one thing while doing another. Their values point in one direction while their habits pull them in another. Living with that internal contradiction creates constant tension. It becomes exhausting because you're always negotiating with yourself instead of leading yourself. Eventually, that misalignment begins leaking into every part of your life. In relationships, it shows up as defensiveness. At work, it becomes procrastination. Physically, it looks like fatigue, low energy, and constant distraction. When your actions don't match your values, though, you're fighting yourself every single day. The second pillar of self-trust is boundaries. Most people think boundaries are about telling people no, but that's not quite it. Boundaries begin with the standards you set for yourself. A boundary is simply a line you refuse to cross, even where nobody else would know if you did. You decide you'll stop drinking after 2 drinks. You keep that promise. You decide you'll train 4 mornings a week. You keep that promise. You decide you'll no longer tolerate behavior that destroys your peace. You keep that promise. The goal here isn't to impress anybody. The goal is to stop disappointing yourself. Every time you honor one of your own standards, your trust in yourself grows stronger. And a man who trusts himself becomes remarkably steady. And that's what we talk about a lot here on this channel. So if you like to learn more, feel free to subscribe. A man who trusts himself becomes remarkably steady, grounded, focused, reliable. The third pillar is very, very important, and also another big topic that we talk about here, and that is emotional control and purpose. Emotional control. Pillar number 3. Integrity isn't real if it only exists when life is easy. Anyone can stay calm when nothing is challenging them. The real test comes when you're angry, stressed out, criticized, hurt, or under pressure. If you said you wouldn't lose your temper, then don't. If you decided you'd stay calm during conflict, then stay calm. Otherwise, your emotions become the ones making making your decisions, and every decision made emotionally chips away at that trust you've been trying to build. People naturally feel safer around someone who remains centered under pressure. And that's first prize for all of us, many especially. Not because we want to be emotionless, but because we want to control ourselves. And that's a form of real strength. And this also connects directly to purpose. Purpose isn't just having a vision for your future. Purpose is making today's actions agree with tomorrow's goals. You have a purpose. This is what I need to start working on. This is what I need to stick to every day. And you chip away day by day consistently. You can't build the future you want while repeatedly betraying it through your daily habits, or bad habits in this case. Every habit that you choose casts a vote. Either you're building the man you want to become, or you're reinforcing the man you're trying to leave behind. If you want more confidence, don't chase confidence. Keep promises. If you want clarity, stop waiting for motivation. Live as though your word matters. Live as though when you say you're going to do X, Y, or Z, make sure you do X, Y, or Z. And it's harder to do than you might think. It is hard, but that's where you ultimately gain your victories. Confidence is built by thinking differently. It's built by repeatedly proving to yourself that you'll do what you said you would do. So where do you start? You start small. Keep one promise to yourself every day, even if it's tiny. Don't make commitments you already know that you can't honor. Finish more of what you begin, and when you do fall short, and everybody does, own it immediately. No excuses. Don't blame other people. No stories, no blaming circumstances, just honesty to yourself. And that's how trust starts to build. Not through perfection, through consistency. Remember, people often say trust is earned, and that's right. But that doesn't only apply to other people, it applies to the relationship that you have with yourself. Every promise you keep is another brick in that foundation, and every promise you break removes one. So the question isn't whether you trust yourself today. The question is, what are you doing today that makes tomorrow's version of you trust you a little bit more? Because in the end, discipline isn't about achievement. It's about becoming a man whose word means something, even to himself. These pillars are really important. They're really important for you to become a better the best man you can be for you. And when you start to get these things right for you, you start getting a lot of things right for those around you. If you've enjoyed this, thank you for joining. Please join me for the next one.